Welcome back to episode 25 of the Bold North Sports Podcast. Here with Evan, as always. We just got done watching the Wild absolutely get their ass whooped by the Nashville Predators tonight, 6-1. Just an overall ugly game, Ev.
Yeah, I want to say happy leap year to you, you know.
Oh,
every 4 years this comes
year.
around, you know.
Happy birthday to two-voice Tyrese Halliburton and, of course, ex-Viking linebacker Eric Kendricks. So,
blast from the past.
Evan suggested that I take 2 pictures of myself today.
Okay, we don't need. We can cut that.
What?
We don't. Okay, fine. I take 2 pictures of myself every 4 years, every leap year.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. I didn't know you were gonna bring it up on the podcast.
I figured it was okay to.
Yeah, I was showing you pictures of 15-year-old Evan Giles.
Yeah, and I was inspired, and I'm going to listen to your
recommendation.
Sure.
I seen it on Twitter, so it's not like I came up with it. I'm like, it's one of those dumb things you could do. But back to your point, the Wild, every time they give you hope, they shatter your hearts. It's every cycle of being a Minnesota sports fan. Bull. Trailer. Oh, come on.
Ooh, and you got the balls almost stuck.
But yeah, the Wild, they were on a heater. They were only like 4 or 2 points out of a playoff spot. So they give you hope, and then they don't show up tonight, and they lose 6-1.
Yeah.
But they did. Did you hear the news? One of the very good prospects we have overseas is coming over.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I don't even want to try to pronounce his name because I know I'll get it wrong.
Is it like Swedish?
It's very Swedish.
Okay.
I will show you a picture of him, and you can try to pronounce his name.
I do want to try this.
Because, it's the same thing with, Kaprizov when he came over. 90% of the fans, said his name wrong until, they introduced him and stuff, and everybody got it. And then now... But, yeah, so here he is.
All right. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot harder than Kaprizov.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with Marat Kuznetsdinov.
Okay.
Kuznetsdinov.
Yeah.
Kuznetsdinov.
Yeah, but...
Kuznetsdinov.
Yes, he's very good. He's, I seen, on Instagram and everything that everybody was very happy that it came over, so it's good. It's just the tip of the iceberg for all the kids we got coming over. A lot of the kids are going to be very good. But now the question looms of how is he going to get on the ice?
Yeah.
The trade deadline is approaching, but
when is the trade deadline?
I do not know. Either this week or next week, I'd say, just because everything's ramping up.
Sure.
And when prospects come over, you can tell the season's kind of at the end,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know. I mean, I want him to play, obviously, because if he is considered one of our higher-end prospects. But he looks good. I've watched some of his games from overseas. He looks very good. Good two-way player. He can score. He can play defense. So he plays both ends, which is huge.
How old is he?
I don't know.
Don't know?
I can look it up, though. Actually, I'm sure he's 20, 21, 22.
Oh, that's pretty young.
Maybe 25. I don't know.
He's around there.
I will look it up. I will try to look it up. But I don't know. I like it because it's gonna help the team a lot. But I don't know what this means for Brandon Duhaime, Mason Shaw, Connor Dewar, because either the third or fourth line, that's what he's gonna be. He is called the Swiss Army knife. That is what Minnesota Wild.
Him and Josh Metellus.
He is a 2020 second round pick has arrived. He won't have to look for help. They think that he's going to be on a line with Kaprizov at some point.
Really?
Not right now, but I don't know if he's going to play center, but you know what I mean, because it's kind of hard because you have Boldy and Kaprizov on that first line, and you don't really want to break that up because they're both electric players. So I really don't know, but yeah, he said Bill Guerin said he's very excited to have him. So I mean, he was a 2020 second round pick. He had 75 points in 162 career KHL games, so probably just under a point per game, which is good. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna still trying to find his name.
Or his age.
Yeah, well, I know his name. Good save there, Cameron.
Marat Kuznetsov.
He's 21.
21. See, that's pretty young.
Look how different he looks in that picture from then.
Yeah, he's got a nice beard
Wow.
now. Longer
He actually shares a
hair.
birthday with one of our fellow neighborhood guys.
What?
Can you
Really?
guess?
What? Wow.
Wow.
That's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you see, like, when I look him up, like, that is one of our prospects. That is one of our prospects. He's a prospect. He's a prospect. These are all prospects of ours.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So there's a lot more coming. So this is, like I said, this is the tip of the iceberg. That Liam kid, that I don't know.
Bless me.
I can't pronounce any of these kids' names, so I kind of feel bad. But this kid right here, Liam Olgren, he is going to be very good. So do you watch any of the World Juniors?
No.
So the
I don't
World
watch regular hockey.
The World
I'm not
Juniors
watching.
is like pretty much like this year the U.S. won, and they had 4 Gophers on there. So it's pretty much like all college age kids. Like last year, Bedard was in it, and this Liam Olgren guy, this kid, he was like the Sweden captain,
Okay.
and he's 20.
Oh.
So yeah, and Sweden takes hockey very seriously, obviously.
Yes.
So that's a big look. Like everybody knows he's gonna be good,
Wow.
which is good.
That's a very good sign.
But for the current team, I really don't know.
Yeah.
We say this every week. It feels like we're like repeating ourselves, but you really don't know what to do because they played very well. Like against Carolina the other night, they played very well. They lost, but they only lost by a goal. So you're like, okay, now we have Nashville. Like Nashville is I would consider Nashville one of our rivals because we always play them good. And then you go to the night and you don't wake up and you just stay asleep for 3 periods. And then you just get boat raced. So it's really hard to like determine it, I guess, like what you want to do, because like you don't know if any of these prospects are going to come over. Obviously, one of them did, but multiple of them might not. If they don't, I would just say, I don't know. Because I don't want to say don't make the playoffs, because I love wild playoff hockey.
Right, and it's like they still have the opportunity to do so. So
Yeah,
it's
like,
like
you got to get in the tournament to win the tournament.
yeah, I
like,
mean,
that's all you have to
anything
do.
can happen. That's the thing.
There's been wild card teams that win it. There's been wild card teams in all the sports that win it.
Exactly.
So it's hard to just sit here and be like, yeah, just lose out, try to get a top 5 pick, and then just sell it all in for next year.
Yeah.
But when you're, like, they always say, like, with Billy Guerin, he's a GM, obviously, they always say that he has, like, one hand tied behind his backs because of the Suter and Parisi buyouts. So you can't really put him on the hot seat of whatever he does until he has the whole salary cap to work with.
Yeah.
They don't have Money Rob over in St. Paul, so,
It's true.
you know.
They don't have a Rob Brzezinski of their own.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be. We're gonna go down to the stretch. I feel like it's either we're gonna make the playoffs or we're gonna be a couple games out. I don't think they're gonna just fall off the face of the earth and be a bottom feeder like some Wild fans want to do. But I don't know. It'll be fun to see this kid play, see his potential, see what he can do in the NHL. Because there's always like Minnesota. There's always prospects that don't pan out.
Right.
And then there's always prospects like Kaprizov who comes over. Kaprizov was a 5th round pick. He comes over and now look at him. He's our best player.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, but the other Minnesota winter team,
Uh-huh.
they won again 2 nights in a row. You got something in your eye there, Bubba?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, we're good.
You want
All
to
right.
talk about the T-Wolves now or what?
Yeah.
I kind of transitioned over and then you're digging at your eyes.
Sorry, it's like when your eye, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like really weird. And then I was like, uh-oh. It's like your eye's in the wrong place.
All you have to say about the T-Wolves last night is one guy.
Yeah.
Can you say his name for me? I think I forgot about it.
Well, let's just say he's had multiple 30-point games this year.
Anthony Edwards. I wish I knew his middle name because that'd be a perfect time to like.
Anthony, I'm pretty sure it's two letters. I think it's MF, I'm pretty sure. So,
I see what you did there.
yeah.
I don't know.
No, he had a great game last night. He had, 34 last night?
And then did you see what he did defensively? We were down 11 in the third quarter, and Jaren Jackson had like something like 20-something points, and then he held them to like 9 points.
Oh, yeah?
And Edwards was like plus 22 on the court.
Really?
He's so good.
I didn't watch much of the game.
I didn't either. I just seen it on.
I got home, and they were down in the third, and I was like, this is the Grizzlies.
They can never play Memphis. Like, they can never just, like, show up and beat Memphis by 25.
No.
No matter if, like, Memphis has all G League guys, they'll always play them close. Like, the first time we played them in Minneapolis, like, it was like, it took us the fourth quarter to pull away. It's like, how can you not close out? Like, we can beat the Clippers. We can beat all these good teams, no problem. And then it's just like, the Memphis comes to town, and they're like, oh, how do we play basketball again? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Kyle Anderson did not play last night.
He did not play last night?
No. So, Monty Morris got more minutes. Nas got more minutes.
Jaden played pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was... Obviously, it's kind of been the same thing that the Wolves do all year. They play down to their opponent's level.
And then they play up to other
and then they realize, oh, shit, we shouldn't be doing this. And then they finally actually play to
but
how they're
the thing
supposed
that
to.
shows that they're a special team is, like, they can win these games.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, like, Memphis doesn't come to town and they don't turn the gear on and they lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what they've been doing all years. They can play like crap the first 3 quarters, and then they'll be like, oh, shit, it's time to go in the fourth quarter, and then we go, and then we're good.
Right.
So, yeah. Rudy had a quiet night last night. He only had 8 and 8.
Yeah.
So. I don't know, it's good.
This is also so this is the third year in a row where the Timberwolves have had a winning record, and this is only maybe like the 5th or 6th time we've hit 42 wins as a franchise.
Did you see that last night's win tied us for last year's win total?
Yeah.
Including postseason games?
Yeah.
That's insane. So no more playing this year, which I am very, very happy for.
Yeah.
Because if you can get that extra 5 days to rest instead of having to deal with winning potentially 2 play-in games, that's going to be huge for the Wolves.
Yeah. So we're 42-17, so there's 23 games left. So if we only lose 5 games going forward.
That's a lot. Because you don't know what you're going to do with the last 5 games. You don't know how much you're going to play Edwards and them, you know?
Or no, if we lose 7 games, we can lose 7 games.
Okay.
And we get to 58.
I don't know. I think the floor should be 52, 53. The floor. The floor right now.
Yeah, that's half of your games.
I think that's respectable, don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Yeah, no, I mean with how well we play and the team that we have, I mean we look like a super team out there sometimes.
See, the thing with the NBA is what I don't get is like, okay, so the Wolves are built completely different than other teams, obviously, but like the Wolves are like the same amount of like salary cap as the Clippers. And look who the Clippers have. For like name value, like if you're like a name value kind of guy, like if you look at the Clippers roster, you're gonna be like, holy crap, these guys have like 8 All-Stars on the team.
Right.
And then you look at the Wolves, and if you're just based off of names, you probably know 3 names off the T-Wolves.
Yeah, but you also look at the Supermax contracts we gave and Ant, Cat,
well,
and
Ant deserves it.
Well, yeah.
And then the way Carl's playing this year, Carl deserves it. Like he's shooting.
And then Rudy's also got a big one too.
But his defense has helped us.
Right.
So
they're all worth it.
You know what I'm saying though? It's just so weird because you can look at other teams like Golden State. Like how do they have like, you know what I mean? They've had all these guys for so long, and it's like even the Suns that we're watching now, like they have Beal, KD, and Booker all under Supermaxes. It's like so weird to think of the value. I would say like the value in NBA contracts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because you look at a team like the Clippers when they have Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and who else? Who's the other one?
James Harden.
James Harden. You would think that like they're definitely over the cap, you know, but then.
But I don't know. The luxury tax, I think, saves them.
Sure.
Because I don't even know how the luxury tax works, but I'm just gonna say they're underneath. But, I mean, for the NFL, the Saints have been under the salary cap for 20 years now, and it doesn't seem to affect them. They still field the team, and are okay.
Which I wonder what happens, because they're $80 million underneath the cap. Like, how are they able to play? Do they have to sacrifice a pick or something?
I don't know. It's New Orleans. They always do something bounty gate down there.
They just cheat in any way possible.
But yeah, since we were speaking of contracts, Marquise Morris has officially hit free agency.
Yeah, he is. He got bought out today. And I don't see a connection between us and him, but maybe something might happen. I don't know if he'll ever see the floor. I'm completely okay with us sticking with our guys and not making a move to go get him. I don't even know how well he's played this year, but
he can shoot 45% from three.
Sure, and we'll always take shooters, but I just don't know how much he's going to actually see the floor because of chemistry, because of the guys that we already have.
He just wants to come here because he can look and say that we might actually have a chance to go somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to ring chase, we're a pretty good spot.
Who the hell would ever think that Minnesota would be a place to ring chase?
That's a pretty funny statement.
Any sport, you're going to have a guy that comes here to win.
Like you can already see the headline. It says Marquise Morris's dream spots, and it's OKC, Minnesota, and like Phoenix, let's say. And it's just like, I'm just here to ring chase. That's all.
Like,
and
wow,
we're included in that.
Wow, that's insane.
That's got to be the first time ever that happens.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. For me, it's just kind of like a why not? Like, the more help, why not? You know what I mean? If he's gonna come here for no money,
yeah,
just to play, and then if there's games that like Rudy, Cat, and Nas or Jaden get into foul trouble, why not give him 5 to 15 minutes a night? Just if you need them. Yeah. Anything's better than Kyle Anderson at this point.
That's true.
I mean, Kyle Anderson's played well after the trade deadline, but
it's not like I hate him. It's just it's easy to attack him.
Yeah, because he's looking like he's walking through wet cement when he's running.
He just doesn't look like everybody else. That's the thing.
No, but he got here for a reason, so you know what I mean. Like his San Antonio days, and then went to Memphis for a little bit, and he came here. I don't think he'll be back next year for like the future outlook, because I don't really think he fits our style of play. But I don't know. But the three bigs can officially work. Cat was right.
Oh yeah.
After them, watch us.
Yeah.
He was right. He had a point there.
Yeah. Him, Rudy, and Nas work out very well. And I'm surprised. I mean, you look at Jay, but also on contracts, you look at Jay McDaniel's contract. It's like a lot less than most rookies, and just even sophomore players. It's crazy that he's getting paid just a little bit, but hey.
But if you think about it, Jaden's one of those players. He came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
Like, we picked him in the first round, obviously, but like, his first year, he was like so, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't like coming out here like Edwards, like right away, right when Edwards hit the floor, we're like, yeah, this guy's going to be good.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about it. This guy's two-way playability is insane. But like, it took him like a year, I'd say like a year and a half. But he did show up in that Memphis series. That Memphis series, I think, was his breakout, that kind of go of it, because he was playing very well defensively. And then his three-point availability was very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he can shoot pretty well. He's not needed as much on offense, but obviously we love his defense.
He's a definition of a 3-and-D kind of guy.
Yeah, for sure.
But he can also go in and dunk, obviously, but his mid-range game is probably one of his weaker points.
Yeah, but
just like the pull-up, like Edwards does that so well. So it's like, just get the ball to Ant, get the hell out of the way.
But in an era where the 3-point line has become such a big factor, a coach of mine once said, "Don't play in the yard. You either shoot beyond the arc or you're taking a layup or a floater."
Yeah, that's true. But Edwards' mid-range game is so good, you can't take that away from him.
If you have a real polished performance in the mid-range, then hey, I get it. But yeah, if it is someone like Jaden taking those shots, then you should probably reconsider.
Would you consider Anthony Edwards a bona fide superstar yet?
Yes.
Or would you give him another year?
No.
Because a lot of the things on everywhere you see is he's a year away. He's a year away.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you tell him that, then he'll exceed your expectations, you know? Right now, I think he is. He made his first All-Star game this year. He's just electrifying. I mean, he's being featured more. He's averaging at least 28 a game.
Yeah, he's 22 years old.
I mean, you don't see that often.
Do you think he's better than Shea?
It's difficult, and this is what I like about those two having a rivalry, and us.
I don't think it's a rivalry because, like, if you look at them in the All-Star games, they're like buddies. Like, they were by each other, like, the whole time.
Well, no, it's not like a I hate you rivalry, but it's just more like it's always going to be a good game.
Let me get between the lines.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah,
type of
I
see where you're
it's
going
business on the court, friends off the court, that kind of stuff, and we're going to be button heads with the Thunder for the next 5 years at least.
Oh, yeah. The Thunder look to be good, but whenever you have a young team, I think, like, everything can go south quicker because a lot of these unproven guys are having career years.
Well, yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say they're not going to be good because they have a bunch of picks. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything can go downhill very quickly if you're not established.
Sure. That's why you need veteran presence to keep them in line as well and have that leadership.
That's why I think they went out and got Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. What would you consider Cat on?
Yes. He's been in the league for 10 years.
You would consider Cat a bona fide superstar? Or a star?
I'd say he's a star.
Or a superstar?
No, probably not a superstar.
Just take the bona fide out of it? Call him a superstar?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fine. Because he made the All-Star, too.
I don't know. Cat's weird because, like, Cat is so good from three, and we've never seen that from a big man.
Ever.
So that's why, like, it's kind of like a soft spot when you say that, but you also got to remember he's a center at sometimes. And his defense is subpar. Like, that's why we brought Rudy in.
Yeah.
It's because our defense, like, outside of Ant and that 21 team wasn't there. So that's where we were like, well, shit, we have to bone up the defense. And then that's what we did. And then now we're adding to that with Nah and Mike Conley.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the initial Rudy trade was for defense. So, like, that's what like, hesitates me from calling Cat a superstar because, like, he is a center, and even though you're very good from three, you can still play defense. You know what I mean? But his defense has been there this year. But, like, in his past, it's been like he'll shoot a three from the top of the arc, and then he'll be like the last guy down the court. And then you're like, you shot the ball at the top of the arc. You should easily be the first guy back.
Right. Yeah. Throughout his career, he hasn't had the best defensive performances.
And he also wasn't in the best team around him either.
No, but when Beverly was here that one year, we saw a little bit of fire from him in that Grizzlies series. Other than that, until Rudy came along and actually kind of could just step in and Cat could focus more on being an effective scorer rather than having to balance both, he can just focus on one side of the ball and let Rudy do what he's done the last, or just his entire career, being the two-time Defensive Player of the Year he is. So
should win it this year.
You think so?
He should.
He could.
I mean, I think the other thing with, like, any big reward like that is, like, I think a lot of the part of it is team success. I think that plays a big part in, like, how they rank it.
Sure, but I mean the Jazz weren't like that great.
They made the playoffs every time he won it.
Well, yeah, but
like a guy like Sengun from Houston, he could win it. But I think that Rudy has a little bit more. Well, Rudy's been playing better than Sengun.
Yeah.
And then that we're a better team than Houston. I think they consider that in voting, and I think that's across on all sports. Don't you agree?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Like with the team success and where they go, and then like how good the player actually is. Because that's why a lot of times there's awards that are handed out, and a lot of people disagree because of like this guy should have won it, but this guy won it, and then it's a big fight about it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that is a factor. How well your team plays, because it's kind of like the MVP, right? Mm-hmm. You know,
you're
not
an MVP on a 6-10 team.
It's not as impressive.
But if you're an MVP on a 12-5 team,
right?
You're like, well, you guys made the playoffs. I don't know. Every time like the MVP is like Lamar Jackson for this year, different sport, but like you'll get the point. It's like they were great in the regular season, but then they still couldn't win the big game.
Right.
And not even the big game. The big game, like you have the Kansas City Chiefs. Whenever you play them in the postseason, you should have them circled on their calendar. Like we're gonna win. Like Houston, we should beat Houston. Like Kansas City now. This is where Lamar should make his money, and their offense was non-existent in the second half.
Yeah.
Or throughout the entire game, for that matter.
That's true, but hey, then you gotta give credit to Steve Spagnuolo. But
back to the Wolves. What are your first? Because now that Monty Morris has been here for a kind of amount of games, so you can like grade him. What would you give the trade at the deadline?
I'd definitely give it at least a B or B plus.
I would give it a B plus.
I think he fit in really well right away. I don't think it. Ooh, a little scuffle. I think he fit in really well right away, and it didn't take much for him to get in a good flow with the offense. He's someone that doesn't need the ball all the time.
No.
He's a really good facilitator, and he's able to make guys around him really make them look good, even though he doesn't have to be like that Steph Curry kind of guy who needs to do both.
He's another plus-minus guy, and he's very good in the plus-minus.
Yeah, I think he works very efficiently with everybody.
You're gonna look at him, and his efficiency rating when he's on the court's gonna be up, and then his plus-minus is gonna be in the positives 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just think like now is a good time to like grade him because he's been here 5 to 7 games.
Yeah.
Because now like the guys are probably around him will trust him more, like to give him the ball. Because you could tell in like the first couple of games he'd be at the 3-point line, like standing there, like, "Hey, I'm open," and then like Edwards or somebody else would just like drive or pass it to somebody else.
Sure.
I feel like now we're at a point where like they know who he is, they trust him, so like they'll give him the ball, and then he can run the offense too.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that was a big upgrade for the second unit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was a little butthurt at first, obviously seeing TBJ go.
He's done nothing in Detroit.
Well, yeah.
A shake. So
Yeah.
it's like they're getting their opportunity, and we're seeing in hindsight what they would have done if they got minutes here.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like Steph Curry, you know? It's
Right.
nothing like anybody doing something productive.
We also knew that Shake was going to be on his way out anyways. I just didn't know who Monty Morris was right away. I didn't realize that he was playing for the Nuggets. I do think that was a great trade, though. And but he fits well. And it wasn't much of a concern, but when you bring someone in new, you think, how well are they going to fit with the team? And I think it's like the last piece of the puzzle that you needed to find.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Another team
we're trying to find that last piece of the puzzle for another team, actually.
Oh, wow. Another trade was made in Minnesota sports. This one a little bit more recent. Manuel Margot. We acquired him. The Twins acquired him from the Dodgers.
Yeah, pretty good prospect.
The prospect, he's 29.
He's not a prospect? We didn't get any prospects in there?
We did.
Okay.
We traded Noah Miller, our 23rd ranked prospect. He's very good defensively, but he didn't really have a bat. And then we acquired Manuel Margot and another prospect that I do not know his name.
And cash.
But he was the Dodgers' 19th ranked prospect. So I really think it's just a flip of prospects in cash for Margot, and I like it because he's a fourth outfielder. I think he'll really help this team. I'm kind of surprised that we did not trade Larnach in the trade because Trevor Larnach's been here for a while. I mean, am I going to come on here and say that he's got his full chance? Yes and no, because he has, but then he hasn't because injuries and other stuff have kept him off the field. But I don't know. I just would have, if he would have traded him, who knows? He could still get traded. Just because now Margot kind of slides into that fourth outfield spot. So
Right.
your opening day lineup looks more and more to be complete. I don't want it to be complete because I still want to go out and get a second starting pitcher just to make our bullpen deeper again, just to pretty much run it back with the same team minus Polanco and Gray, but have a better second pitcher in either Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell. Or even if you want to get really fun, just sign Trevor Bauer to no money.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be fun. He can still throw. He's been doing pretty well overseas.
I think he's handling... you can't say he did pretty well in overseas because he was in their minor leagues. Like, he was on the big team. Because Japan's the same way it is here.
Right.
They have a major league team, essentially, and then a minor league team. He got demoted right away, and that's where he pitched. Mm-hmm. So I don't know I don't know how good Japan's minor league is compared to the big guns, you know? Because you guys got, like, Yamamoto and Shohei who come over, and they're beasts. But then you have, like...
Yeah, but Trevor's been out for 2 years?
1 year.
1 year.
I don't know.
That's it.
But you got to think, though, like, he still got rocked over there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but...
But I don't know how much that can translate to the American
Trevor
game.
was a Cy Young winner. He was a Cy Young pitcher.
But there's also a reason that he got kicked out of the MLB.
He got kicked out because of...
I know, but...
And it was never true.
I think the MLB has a play in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the MLB did some dirty work on that.
Yeah, but that's like saying that David Stern suspended Michael Jordan for a year and a half because he was a gambling addict.
Did he?
No. He confirmed in The Last Dance that he never did that.
True. Damn, you're Trevor Bauer stan or what?
Well, I just think that it's a lot of that stuff happens in pro sports.
Honestly,
and it's unfair.
Trevor Bauer would be fun, but honestly, I would rather just run it with Joe Ryan and Paddock.
Well, then
Part of me wants to sign him just for the fun of it because it'd be fun. It would be a lot of fun.
yeah, he's only, 32, 33?
But the other part of me is tell the cheap pullouts to take some money out of their pocket and let Levine cook and let Levine go get Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery. You know what I mean? Why not get another ace to play with Pablo? So in game... Because my thing is, like, with Bauer, granted, I said the word, because everybody looks at me whenever I say it now. But I'm going to say it again. Granted, Trevor Bauer could come here and, like, just pitch out of his mind.
Yeah.
But I would rather have Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell because I would trust them more in Game 2 of a wild card or divisional series. Or even in Game 1 and have Pablo pitch Game 2.
Okay.
Because that kind of, like, with the signing of one of those two guys, like, because Blake Snell won the Cy Young last year. So he would almost, I don't know, because I like Pablo. I think Pablo should be our ace. But what do you do if you sign a guy like Blake Snell? Do you push him to the ace over Pablo, or do you have him come in here and be like, you're our second guy, even though you're the reigning Cy Young winner?
You could do either or. I don't think it really... I mean...
It would be a good problem to have.
Yeah.
It'd be a great problem to have, because you'd have two guys that are like...
Just have all three of them.
Pick your poison.
Just have Snell, Lopez, and Bauer. And then you have Ryan at the 4.
I think they're going to make... They just kick him out?
Sengun.
Wow.
See ya.
They just kicked out...
What do you do?
I don't know. We're talking about the Twins, and Cam's more worried about the basketball and the thing. How did he... Oh, yeah. That's your fault, dude. Yeah, that's your fault. I don't feel bad. That's your fault. D-Bucks at the line. That's money. But yeah, I don't know. I think they're gonna, if they sign another pitcher, I think they're only gonna sign one. Because the bullpen's intact, and the starting rotation's intact for what they think. I don't think they're gonna make a move. This is more of like, why not go in, push all the chips forward, and go sign the reigning Cy Young winner or Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
Like, Montgomery's pitched well the last couple of years. Snell obviously won the Cy Young. But I don't know. I get it. It's the poll ads, but I just don't. I'll never understand it. I don't get why you wouldn't go out and get a good guy. Like, get another good pitcher. Because, like, you're young, for the most part. You're a young team. And you're looking like if you don't win the division, something must have horribly went wrong. Because all the other teams in our division are away from where they want to be. Like, I'm not saying, like, Detroit, Kansas City maybe, the Guardians, they can all give us a run for our money. I'm not saying that. But why not go get another Bulldog on the mound and just run away with the division, win 100 games? Mm-hmm. It's just the cheap pull ads. Just open your wallet one more time. And if it is truly just because of the Valley deal, like how that's getting worked out, you shouldn't own the team then. I don't care. Because it's like, you're owning a team. If I would ever own a sports team, I would do it for the success of the team.
Right. I get it. You want to make money on the team, but you also like...
I want to win.
Yeah.
Look at A-Rod. A-Rod comes here. All he wants to do is win.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised that selling the teams never came to his mind. Not selling, but moving the team. Because every time he talks about Minnesota, he's like, I love it here. I'm Minnesota, because you can tell on his social media, as he says he shuffles his driveway. When he really doesn't, he has somebody professionally come and do it.
Probably.
But I just don't get it. Like, the Twins, you're looking very good chance you repeat in the division. You're going to get in the playoffs, and right now you're going to sit here and be like, who am I going to start game 2 of whatever playoff series we're in?
Yeah.
Which is the hard part. Where like last year, you were set up so well because you had 2 really good starting pitchers in Sonny and Pablo, and now you're relying on Paddock, Ryan, Tharland, Simeons, Wood, Richardson, somebody to just break out and have a really good year, which I hope happens, even if we do sign one of the good guys still out there. But I think the more and more closer you get to the regular season, the more and more the dollar signs drop for the free agents.
Yep.
So I think why not go sign them?
Yeah. Spend a little extra dough and, yeah, I mean, even in a weak division, I get it, but you don't want what happened last year where things got close.
Honestly, like the division title, yeah, the only reason I like winning the division is because you get in the postseason. You know what I mean? And that's when you really, that's when Correa really makes his money is the postseason. Yeah. Correa didn't sign here to play in a July 15th game in Target Field. He came here for the October games and the November games. That's why he came here. He legitimately saw something before we did. You know what I mean? Like, Royce Lewis is going to shine bright all year, but when the lights come on in October, he's going to go off. Everybody's going to go crazy in the postseason. So set your team up for success in the postseason. That's just what I don't get, why they don't want to spend money. But granted, I'm here on a couch talking about it when you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Our opinion doesn't matter for them. They could look at us and just laugh at us.
Right.
But I don't know.
I think it was great that they had playoff experience last year, and they might have won the wild card series, and then they go to Houston and that doesn't work out, but I think that now that they've had that experience, and they can go in there the next year because
the monkey's off their back.
Yeah.
With the postseason draw, the monkey's off their back. So just let's go. It's go time.
Yeah, but that's what I mean is in a weak division. Now just make sure to secure your spot. Don't let the race get too tight.
It will. That's how it always goes. Just don't make it tight.
Yeah. But try not to let that happen and just be able to get in there without any hiccups or any doubts and get in there. And now that you have a feeling of what that environment is like, now actually go win in the ALDS, and then move on to the ALCS, and hey, maybe we'll finally see a World Series appearance after 33 years. So,
don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Well, you gotta have optimism.
Gotta win the division first. Gotta win probably the wild card division, the championship, and then the World Series.
Yeah.
I don't know, another team that's on a long drought. Minnesota Vikings.
A long drought of what? Oh, the Super Bowl, yes. Yeah, the Combine, first day today.
This is where the bread and butter is achieved.
Well.
Eyes are like this during the twin segment. Then he said Combine. Whoop, hey, I'm awake now.
It's like a black coffee in the morning, for you.
That's right. Black coffee.
Today, the defensive linemen and the linebackers, the edges, they were testing today. The top 3 that I like from each position as far as defensive players that the Vikings could go after, the D tackles and just the 3 techs. Braden Fisk tested really well today.
That's a kid from Florida State, right?
Yep, very powerful, very quick. Just as far as what I've seen, very just technically. What am I trying to find out? What am I trying to say here?
I'm trying to say a very intelligent word that you can't find.
Yeah, his fundamentals are off the chart, and I think that he could really excel at the next level. Byron Murphy is right up there with him. Not entirely sure if he's related to our Byron Murphy. I don't think he is.
Because he is the second and Byron Murphy is junior. So that would be referring as they're the same person. So it's if they were brothers, their dad would be like, you know what, he's junior. Why not just add the 2 sticks at the end of his name?
Exactly. But yeah, he tested great today as well. He could be a day 1 pick. I think Fisk really helped out his stock today as well. And then obviously the big boy, Tavondre Sweat, there were times where I asked how he could even move like he did today at 366 pounds. Ran a 5.2 40 today, and if you took like a 180-pound corner, that would equivalent to a 4.2. So that it's just insane. I mean, I would absolutely love it if the Vikings made a move. You know, if they sign Kirk back, and at 11 they're like, hey, we're gonna take Byron Murphy.
You almost said Byron Jones, didn't you? Or Byron Murphy.
Byron Young or Murphy or one or two. I was just like thinking, I'm like, which one am I talking about? And then the linebackers for today, Peyton Wilson out of North Carolina, he ran a 4.43, which is unbelievable for an off-ball linebacker.
See, you know too much of this stuff. Like I watched the combine to like a certain extent, like to see who everybody's testing, like the first-round guys, but like I don't watch it as strictly as you do.
Yeah, nobody came into work today, so
you almost love the combine more than watching the games.
The off season's very fun. It's
not.
It's so much fun.
The in season's way better because you get to see the purple every week.
Yeah, I know.
You have to wait till September to watch JJ play.
Yeah, I know, but I like the build up and I like the changes that are made. Yeah. But then also Edgerrin Cooper, who I believe is the top linebacker in this year's draft. He ran a 4.52 again.
I know, but not to be like take away anything from you. We're not going to see any linebackers in the first round, right?
I don't know. I mean, the Lions took one last year, and the Jags did. Or the Jags took one 2 years ago.
Lloyd,
yeah, he's playing really well.
I actually traded for him in Madden a couple days ago.
How did you? Yeah. I mean, Devin Lloyd, that was the same draft. I think Nakobe Dean was like reported as hurt or something like that, but he went in the third round. Last year, Jack Campbell went in the first round. He obviously got good time. He had a starting role in Detroit this year, so it could happen.
I hate Iowa. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
Well,
Jack
yeah.
Campbell, Iowa, I hate it. I hate Iowa.
Yep, as Gopher fans, we are instructed and programmed to hate Iowa.
Did you see what Caitlin Clark and Iowa did to the Gophers yesterday?
No.
Guess how much the Gophers lost by?
30?
No.
More?
48.
Oh, boy. That's not good.
Yeah, but back to the combine in the NFL.
And then the other linebacker I was pretty impressed with was Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who's the son of Jeremiah Trotter. He played for the Eagles back in the early 2000s. So these guys, I mean, they're just athletic freaks, and every single year that as the combine goes on, you're going to see these edges and these linebackers running like deers. Just because, I mean, obviously training is evolving and everything in that sort.
PEDs.
Sure. And
you know there's a couple kids that take PEDs.
Maybe. I don't know. They have to drug test them, I'm pretty sure, before every... I'm sure they have to. Or get a physical at least.
There might be like a time that there's like PEDs that like it doesn't even come up on a test. You know how weird that'll be? Like then everybody obviously will take them.
Yeah.
It'll happen at some point. It'll evolve into like, this is a PED, but it doesn't show up on your test, so you should be good to take it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. But, the Vikes, they might take a linebacker because Jordan Hicks is a free agent. Who knows if they'll bring him back. And also with BA not playing really as much last year.
It's all like opposite of Ivan.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we just don't really know who's going to fill that void right next to Ivan. So maybe we'll see one of those linebackers go off. And then edges. Dallas Turner.
See, this is like the linebackers. Like, I was kind of like, okay, like, but we need an edge and we need interior. We need the trenches very, very badly. So when you say edges and you texted me that Dallas Turner in a 4.47, I was like, yeah, that guy would look very good in purple. Very, very nicely in purple.
Yeah. Yeah, when he ran that and I was like, oh my Lord.
Quicker than JJ.
Yeah, I mean, and Nolan Smith last year too, he almost ran a 4.3 as well. So it's just, I mean, Dallas Turner ran really well today. He had great on-field drills. Jared Verse, I mean, has a ton of power and just, I feel bad for the people who have to hold the bags when they do the bend drill where they pop and then they bend, because he smacked the pad into those guys' heads like both rounds that they had to do. It was pretty funny. But I love Verse. Verse has got a good mix of power. He's got good speed. His bend is really nice. When they were doing a lateral drill today, he had a perfect straight line. Another one I like is Laiatu Latu from UCLA.
You've really changed on him.
What do you mean?
A couple of times you've seen him in a mock draft, feel like I don't want him.
Well, it's because his medical history. He was medically retired back in 2021 or 2, I believe.
Transferred to UCLA, and then now he's a first round. I don't know. He is my least favorite edge if they're projecting at 11. I've seen it. I would rather have Verse or Dallas Turner.
Have you seen tape on Latu?
No.
Oh my God, you gotta watch it. He's so quick. He's got good hands. He's quick. He can get around. It's just unbelievable when I watched him the first time.
Who he reminds me of? Like, it's like not like similar position is Sharif Floyd.
How?
Because injuries. And injuries.
Well,
I know it's different.
Floyd's was a whole different situation. He just had a botched surgery.
I know, but that's the same thing with Latu's. He could re-injure it and have another botched surgery, and then we could just.
Well, that never. I mean,
I know,
it rarely happens. I mean,
my head spinning, and then that's what I think of.
I'm not worried about it at all. I think I'd rather want that guy to go 100%, and I think he'll be great. I think I would like him. I'd like Verse. I'd like Turner. I think those top 3 right there, I would like a lot. But also, Chop Robinson, he ran a 4.49 today, and he is a freakish athlete as well. So I would like him as well.
Who fits in our scheme the best?
Well, I mean, I don't think that none of them do. As far as what kind of defense we run, because we run a 3-4, right?
Pretty much we run an ambush.
Well, yeah.
Pretty much we run is an ambush.
Well, then you want speed, and I think I think a lot of them work. Now, another guy that I've seen mocked to us a ton is Darius Robinson from Missouri. He's a big fella. He's 6'5", like 260 something pounds. He did all right. His change of direction wasn't the greatest, but as far as speed, you're not going to get that from him. But you are going to get a pretty powerful bull rush, and he's going to use his muscle to be able to pancake you. So I wouldn't be mad if we picked him either, because he just loves football too. I mean, he's a very positive guy, I heard. But I would be completely okay with taking an edge at 11. We do see the cornerbacks tomorrow. I think the corners and the safeties.
How much do you take out? How much does the combine actually affect everything?
Well, you finally get to see him in action after a while, and actually do specific drills that you're looking for, and I don't know. It's just kind of nice to be able to see these guys, just get out there, have fun, be able to have interviews with them on a personal level.
I know. Every time I think about it, I think some aspects of the combine are a little overrated. Because I don't know. It's like the testing I get and stuff, but I just would rather watch film of an actual game.
Well, that's the thing, is they'll see the film right away, or they got their regional scouts, obviously.
So what do you do? The thing that I always get away with is what do you do if a guy tests awesome at the combine, and then he completely botches his pro day?
Pro day doesn't matter. Pro day is the biggest scam ever. Pro day is a scripted act for scouts that come to watch you. I mean, an example is Zach Wilson.
So you take nothing from the pro day?
No. The pro day is just a talent show. It's all scripted. You got your guys there that you've been throwing to for the last 4 years. You make all these crazy throws. It's exactly what Zach Wilson did at his BYU pro day, and he became the second overall pick because of it. So pro days.
He did look good on film his senior year at BYU, though.
Yes, but the only thing you should be looking for at their pro days is the second time that they run their 40, and any other, I don't know, just some other small things, I guess.
See, what if like a guy runs like a 4.4 at the pro day and then he runs a 5.2 at the combine?
That's a pretty big jump.
Exactly. So like, what do you take anything from that? Like, do you look at that and be like,
First of all, that's almost a second difference.
yeah, just saying though, like it's probably happened before. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much do you take away from that? Like, what if, like, even if the pro day is so scripted and they still test not as well at the pro day, do you take that into account, or do you like, well, he tested great at the combine, let's pick him?
I don't know. At that point, you really need to reevaluate. If you're going off of their pro day, and if they have almost a second difference in their 40-yard dash, then you probably should go back to the tape and reevaluate, because the tape doesn't lie.
See, that's my thing. Is like, there's like, I like watching the combine and everything, but there is a reason for the pro day. You know what I'm saying? There is, because that's why all the scouts, all the coaches, and all them are there too. So there is like a small reason, like they look for something when they're at their home court or their home field, their home practice field and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess you could say that maybe the pro day gives them a second chance to prove themselves, but really, it's they can't lose when they're at their pro day.
What about like Michael Penix? When did the quarterbacks go out? Like Saturday?
Saturday, the quarterbacks.
So what if Michael Penix just lays a turd at either the combine or the pro day, and then he flips it the other way around? Like, let's say the combine on Saturday, he just lays a complete turd, and then at the pro day he goes crazy.
I wouldn't draft him.
What about JJ?
JJ? Yeah, I don't. Then you have to go back to the tape after that. The pro day makes you look good. Because if you bomb the combine, you have a pro day to fall back on. And then people are like, oh, okay, yeah. But, no, the pro day, everything it's a step-by-step thing. You know, all right, we're going to go through slants. We're going to work the short game. Then we're going to go medium. Then you're going to go on the run. Then you're going to go the other way, so then we can have some flashy plays so you look good in front of the scouts. At the combine, you only get notice of what you're going to do, I would assume, probably the day before. You know, they're going to walk through drills and be like, this is what we're going to do. You're throwing to guys that you've never thrown with before. You don't have a connection with them at all. So it's a lot more difficult to really put on a show. Your pro day, they're going to tailor towards your attributes. So if they have a bad combine and then they do really well at your Pro Bowl or at their pro day, I would say that's a pretty big red flag, and you go back to the tape and you make your final evaluation. So, that's just me.
Yeah.
The pro days were fun until they took it seriously with Zach Wilson. Exactly. And so, what I'm saying is, like, don't look at the pro day so seriously.
I don't know. I don't really take... I don't know. I like watching the combine, but I don't know. It's just another thing, kind of, for me.
Oh, I enjoy it
That's
a lot.
just a difference. I don't know. It's just, I always revert back to film 90% of the time, you know?
Well, a lot of scouts,
Because it's like hard because, like, when you're at the combine or the pro day, you're running around in the shorts and t-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't directly correlate with you running with pads and everything, but
when you put the pads on and you got a 360-pound offensive tackle for an edge to get around, you know, that's what I don't know. I like the combine. I'm not taking anything away from it. I think tape. I think that's. What do you think they evaluate, like, in order? Do you think it goes tape then the combine tape, pro days down here?
It goes, so in season, it goes what
I'm talking off season.
Oh,
because in season, all they're going to look at is on the tape, like what he does every week.
Well, I mean, in season, they have guys go to games, so it's going to be the in-game stuff on site. After the season, yeah, they'll look at tape, they'll create their big board, their rough big board. Then you go to the combine, evaluate, do interviews, talk to them, get to know them on a personal level, and then maybe you'll shift it around a little bit, see how they test. And then if you really like somebody, because like teams won't go to a pro day unless they're in their top 30, maybe. I mean, teams have a top 30 list every single year.
I got that.
And to be honest with you, about 10 of them are probably guys who they'd actually pick. you don't want to give away.
Well, then you give those guys the visit, right?
Well, yeah, but you don't also. Sometimes you bring in guys for visits that you just don't even. You're not even gonna pick because a lot of these GMs, if you're interviewing all these guys that you really like, then you're just showing other GMs who you want. Mm-hmm. So strategically, they're gonna have 10 guys there that they like, but they're gonna have a top 30. But yeah, then you just get your top 30 ready to go. You bring them in for interviews, and then, if there's something off about them, then you go back to the tape. You reassure yourself of why they're on your top 30, and then boom, the draft's there. So you kind of have to go back and forth between what you've seen, but a lot of guys just test very well at the combine, and that whatever they do at their pro day, it's fine. At that point, you're just getting to know them on an even more personal level. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But, I think we went to Jordan Addison's last year, I think. Jordan Addison was on our top 30.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So.
I think every first-round guy you're going to pick is probably on your top 30.
Yeah.
I bet JJ was on in 2020.
Maybe.
He probably should have been number one on everybody's big board.
But then, guys like we didn't interview Bryce Young nor CJ Stroud last year. And now this year we've interviewed Drake May, Jane Daniels, and Caleb Williams. So.
They want a quarterback.
Well, they do. But, like I'm saying, is last year, there were reports that maybe they were going to go up and get. We did interview Richardson, but we didn't interview Stroud or Young.
Apparently, we were in love with Richardson last year.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Is if they're interviewing the top 3 guys this year, clearly they want to make a move.
They want to. The thing with me is, I don't get why they interview Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams is going to be in your division in 48 days.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know, because the Bears traded the first overall pick last year, and they could do it again, but it sounds like Justin Fields will probably be on his way out.
Either way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm if they
they're just souring their relationship at this point.
Yeah, I know. And then Washington, I think Washington's going to stay put, and I think New England's going to stay put as well. I think New England's going to take whoever Washington doesn't.
I honestly think one trade that I think that might actually happen is Washington trading up to 1.
Oh.
Just to get Caleb, because it all aligns for Caleb to go to Washington. He's from there, 1, and Lincoln Riley's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
For Washington now.
And it shouldn't take much.
No. Probably a second or a third.
Yeah.
I don't, you're not going to give up. Chicago would be dumb to be give us your future 1.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think that, I mean, but what if Chicago falls in love with Drake May and takes him 1? You know what I mean?
No, well, then they're
it's
just going to...
It's just stuff like that.
Hopefully they don't run into a Mitch Trubisky situation again then with another UNC quarterback.
I think Drake May is better coming out
than
Trubisky is.
The thing is with a lot of these quarterbacks in this year's draft, and especially Drake May, I mean, and it's every single quarterback, I get that, but they need a lot of development. And if you can't throw the guy right away into the fire.
No, we've said this.
And this is what we were talking about. To add a little bit more context, I don't know if this will go out on TikTok at all, but we don't mean that it's a really bad idea to take a quarterback in the top 3. You just have to be ready to take on a rookie quarterback and be able to develop him.
It's honestly the analogy for real life is a baby.
Yeah,
It's having an actual baby.
Right.
You have to groom them, obviously. You have to take care of them. You have to kind of let them grow by themselves, too. Mm-hmm. Because there's only so much you can do.
And that's why I'm kind of eerie about Washington and New England taking 2 of the top quarterbacks, because they're not ready for any of that. I mean, if you had... Now, I think Caleb Williams and Washington would be a little bit of a different story. But if Chicago stays where they're at and they go with Caleb Williams and Washington goes with Drake May, it's just, I don't think it's going to work out the way that they want it to be.
I think Caleb goes 1. I think Washington will take Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Washington has enough around them to be able to support.
They have a bunch of cap and they have a bunch of picks. So it's, you know what I mean? You can have this conversation now, and then you can have this conversation in a month when free agency's open.
That's what I mean, yeah.
It's you can sit here and pick and choose who you're going to pick, everything, but it doesn't really matter because free agency comes first, and there's a lot of big names out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing with us is like all these rumors of trading up for a quarterback might be gone when we sign Kirk for 2 or 3 years.
Did you hear the thing that Darren Wolfson said, though?
What?
Darren Wolfson was on your favorite podcast.
Snore North?
Yep. And he said that this is all rumors, You get in the Combine League and it's all rumors. And they said there's a more chance, the more and more it gets closer to free agency, that Kirk's good as gone. That's all he said. And then Phil Mackey was like, oh my God, it's happening, because he's anti-Kirk.
Yeah.
Which I don't get how you can be. But I don't know. The Kirk thing, we can talk about it again, because we both want him back. We'll say this every episode. But
Look,
I don't know.
I'm going to listen to my head coach, and I'm going to listen to the GM, and both of them clearly have said that they want Kirk back. So
do you think they mean it, or do you think they're bluffing?
If they didn't want Kirk, then they'd say it.
I know, but I think there's a little bit of bluff, especially this week. Like, how much do you take, because they're on interviews and podcasts and everything every day this week, because it's a combine. Everybody's together, everybody's in one city, all the media outlets are there. How much do you really take, this week? I know they said it in the past, but how much do you take, this week, for example, next week or the week, last week or 2 weeks in the future? Do you take this more seriously because it's a combine? Or are you maybe they're just don't want to get synced too much into the media?
Yeah. I mean, I don't... I mean, it's a mix of a lot of things. But I think Kevin O'Connell is there to be we love Kirk. We want Kirk back. And then Kwesi's there it's a business.
Well,
we got to make the decisions we need in order to be successful. But also, Kwesi has his competitive rebuild, and it doesn't make sense to draft a new quarterback and throw him right in there if you want to be competitive.
I'm just saying, for Kevin O'Connell's perspective, his first year, Kirk stayed healthy, 13-4. Second year, Kirk got hurt. We didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that's all you should be. And then for all those people of you on X and stuff, that Kirk has one playoff win. It's a team sport.
Yeah.
It's a team sport.
Especially when you spend your first 6 years in the league in Washington.
Yeah.
I
just everybody that doesn't want him back is how do you watch the last 8 or 9 games?
Yeah, and be
just be wow, Kirk can leave.
Yeah.
I get it if we lose, if Josh Dobbs is bad from the jump and we lose and then we're sitting now at 5, and then you're well, let's just take a quarterback and restart. I get that conversation, but you're also picking 11 for a reason.
You're in a tough spot, yeah.
Because he also won more games without Kirk, but there was never really hope when Kirk went down.
Yeah.
Everybody was the ship's going down.
Look, his teammates want him back. Clearly, he's loved in the organization.
He's got grills now. Bring him back.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I get it. I mean, if he goes down to Atlanta, Julie's from there. Her family's obviously down there, and they got a good team, in a weak division. I get it. But I don't think that Kirk has a better spot. I mean, he's not going back to Washington. He's not going to New England. He's not going anywhere that's crappy. It's either us or Atlanta.
Vegas?
No, he's not. What is in Vegas other than trouble? Kirk is anti-Vegas.
I know, but money talks.
If Kirk chases the money, clearly we know his intentions.
I'm just saying, though, if this is another thing, though, is if Kirk really wants to win, Atlanta might be the move. Because like you said, the weak division, we forget we're last in our division right now. Because the Bears have more picks than we do. They have more money than we do. And then we've seen what the Lions and Packers did.
Well, I mean, we did beat Atlanta with Josh Dobbs, so, I mean, if he wants to go there, that's fine.
I'm just saying, though, because you said the weaker division, Kirk would win the division down there. It wouldn't be close.
Well, yeah, I get it, but I don't know. I mean, if Kirk signs over anything over $40 million, you know that it's for the money and for the money only. And Kirk has talked about how much he wants a Super Bowl ring. I'm sorry, but if he goes down to Atlanta, that's not happening. Atlanta, I just don't see it. I know they're a fiery and young and aggressive team. I just don't see it at all. With us, how could you leave the best receiver in the NFL to go to? Yeah, I get it. I think Drake London's a good wide receiver. He's up.
Let's say they sign Kirk, and then they trade up to 3 and grab Marvin Harrison.
Who?
Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Yeah. They go up and get the Jefferson connection to Kirk and Marvin Harrison, just younger.
Well, if they do, then they do, I guess.
Would it be just as similar as here if they would go up and get Marvin Harrison?
Are you going to compare Marvin Harrison to Justin Jefferson?
I don't know. Maybe.
You think that
I'm not saying he's better. I'm not saying he can be better.
He wouldn't have taken a step on an NFL field, and you would already
Jefferson's better.
Yeah.
Like Jefferson will be better. I'm just saying Marvin might be similar to Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Marvin's graded better than Jefferson coming out of college was. You know what I'm saying? And then if you trade up, you give Marvin, and then he has JJ 2.0 maybe, but he could flop. It could be a bust. Take the risk, and then you have Drake London, USC boy, just like Jordan Addison.
I don't know. I mean, would Raheem Morris want to trade up for an offensive weapon, or would he want to stick at 8 and go with one of the best defensive players he can get?
He will. I'm just getting weird. You know, it's speculation. It's combine week.
I'm just saying.
Speculate.
And how would Kirk know that happens when he signs?
It's a lot of what ifs, Cam.
I'm just saying.
That idea got shot down.
Well, I'm just saying the offense that he's leaving right now is the best that he's ever had, and now he's finally got a defense that can actually stop.
I know.
And then, especially when you go into the draft, you go, "Hey, Kirk, if we sign you, if we get you back, we're going to give Flores as many weapons as we can."
And then you just push the future quarterback thing down the line.
Yeah, I mean,
which I don't. Again, like we said the one time, Jaron Hall is still in the building. Jaron Hall has not left yet. Everybody.
Yeah, don't give up on him because he played one bad game at New Year's.
No, one bad half. Forget they pulled him at halftime.
We forgot a few things.
I remember the whole thing.
I don't.
I remember Nick Mullins coming in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just people forget that we have Jaron Hall because you know what's going to happen, Cam, is in April 27th. If we do not pick a quarterback, half of Vikings Twitter will want to shoot Kwesi and KL. And I'm not saying I don't want to. I love them both. I think that Kwesi's analytics side might work. We got to give him more time.
True.
But, it's just, how Twitter will react to the Vikings not picking the quarterback in this draft if they re-sign Kirk. We'll know by draft night.
Yeah, I know, but you got to look at it from... I mean, the Vikings, we handled Green Bay. We handled Chicago sort of the first time, then the second time, obviously, the Josh Dobbs fiasco. And we don't know what would have happened with Detroit, but if Nick Mullins could throw 400 yards on them, I think Kirk would have been able to... You got
to think of the second game in Detroit when we had no TJ, no Kirk, and we still put up a fight.
Yeah.
And then the first time we played them, we only lost by 6 at home with... Nick Mullins and Jordan Addison got hurt in that game.
Yeah, with this team completely healthy, we are dangerous. We are dangerous. We got one of the best offenses in the NFL when everybody's there. You just got to beef up the line a little bit.
Both sides.
Both sides. I think that I'm sorry, but after getting rid of, by the way, cut Madison.
Yeah, we didn't even kind of make a big thing about it.
No.
It doesn't. We don't need to spend 5 minutes on Madison.
No, but great guy. Just didn't work out last year.
Yeah.
But Garrett Bradbury is another one that it's
at 11. Let's pick that kid from Oregon.
Yeah, I mean he's pretty good. He had a really good Jackson Powers Johnson had a really good Senior Bowl.
I would not be mad with that pick.
I think it would make a little bit more sense to trade back into the first round because I still want a defensive player. But hey, I wouldn't be mad with that at all. The kid's 320 pounds. He can move really well. Got a great base. I mean,
and bring back Dalton Risner, and your offensive line is set.
Yeah. So I mean, just keep that line together. Make a few changes. I think that Ed Ingram's going to have a pretty good year. I think he played well enough last year to keep his spot.
That's another one of those things is in the 5th or 6th round, he could take a flyer on a kid just to see what he has for guard.
In the second round, Christian Mahogany from Boston College. He's pretty good.
I want first, second, third round defense. We don't have a third round pick.
We don't. So
first, second, fourth, we want defense.
I don't know. If you want to find good good offensive. I mean, all of our linemen have been picked in the first and second rounds.
That's the other thing is it depends on how big a neat guard is if Risner leaves.
Yeah, again, or it's just for depth, But and then obviously on the other side, I mean, I love to see Jaquelin Roy play a little bit more.
We kind of need a full revamp of the defensive line. If you like it or not, it's going to get completely revamped this offseason.
And I think that Harrison Phillips played really well last year, but I would like to have somebody else.
Harrison Phillips would be a lot more efficient if we had a Byron Murphy or we signed Christian Wilkins. Like, he would be a lot more efficient if he could get plays off.
Oh, Chris Jenkins is the other one, too, that I liked from Michigan.
Guard?
No, defensive tackle. Okay, yeah. His father was in the league, too. Played for the Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, because I don't think Daniil comes back. I think Daniil leaves, which I'm completely okay with. Which means, go get your edge in Dallas Turner or Latu or Verse. And then if, in the second round, if one of those D tackles falls, like Fisk,
Sweat,
Michael Hall from...
He went back.
He did?
I think.
You sure?
Almost positive that Michael Hall went back.
Oh, okay. Chris Jenkins might go to the second round. T'Vondre Sweat, but his stock probably climbed after today.
No, he did. He did come out. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Braden Fisk, I think he's going to be the top of the first round now, if I'm being completely honest, after today. There's a lot of good guys that tested today. I'm going to have to go back and look again. But there might be some guys. Again, you just give Flores as many guys as he needs. And because the offense is set. You're going to have to wait a month for TJ.
Also,
but just pick, who I like. If the Vikings pick this guy, I've been picking him in all my mock drafts, but just remember the name, Dallin Holker from Colorado State.
What is he?
He's a tight end. Okay. If we can get him in the 5th or 6th round, I would be so happy.
We'll see. Ken.
He's a transfer from BYU.
Okay, we don't need to go in depth.
I like it. He looks like George Kittle. He wears 85. He's got long hair. It's just, the guy's good. So if we can pick him, I would love that. I love Dallin Holker.
Okay.
But
you said give Flores his guys. They're going to go away from the combine. What are your thoughts on Xavier Howard being a Minnesota Viking?
I think he's old, and I think he'll be expensive, so no.
What if he's cheap?
But if he's cheap, then maybe. But he's old. He's going to be 30. So.
What about Christian Wilkins?
Wilkins, he'll be 29. Give him a short-term deal, but he is going to be worth a lot, but I think he'll be worth it.
So do you consider age more for the back end guys
for sure
to the front end guys?
Yeah, exactly. Now there's guys who can just do it and still play at a high level like Harry the Hitman.
Yeah.
But as far as corners, you don't see a lot of them play too well past their 30s.
How much would you give up for Snead if that rumor is true to trade for him? How much would you give up?
It'd have to be It'd have to be a fair deal. I mean, I think they're probably going to get a first out of it.
What if they take, like, our second and Evans?
I mean, that's a pretty easy trade to make.
What about 11? Would you give 11 for him?
No, not at all. I think you don't have to do that. And I think, honestly, the Vikings would have just, I know we talked about it before, but would have been just okay if they just took Trent McDuffie,
Yeah,
but whatever.
But it's a what-if game.
It's not the what-if game. They could have Winfield, Hamilton, McDuffie.
But then you wouldn't have guys we have now.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Oh.
I'd rather have an all-pro safety.
Yeah, and then no more Ivan Pace.
That doesn't correlate at all.
It might, dude.
No, it won't. They play different positions.
You never know, Cam. You can't just say that and then not. Everything changes.
Then what's the correlation between the two?
Of what?
Ivan Pace and some safeties.
Well, you pick a safety, everything changes. Eric Kendricks might still be here. Jordan Hicks might still be here. Then you don't need a linebacker. Brian Asamoah could be going crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about that.
In this ultra universe. Everything changes. Like, I get it. We messed up in the draft. We mess up in the draft all the time. You know what I mean?
I don't get that doesn't make any sense.
I don't care. It's just you
I
can't
think
be mad. You got to live with it.
I think Pace still gets
Jeff
scooped.
Gladney could have been a dog. What do
He
we know?
was going to be.
Exactly. Like, we don't know. Like, we could be sitting here and Jeff Gladney could be the best corner of football. But, R.I.P. But, like, there's a lot of shit that can happen.
Okay, but I'm talking about 2022 and a guy, which I get it, broke his leg in London. But, like...
I get it.
What?
We could have picked anybody.
What was the reason? You have McDuffie and you have Hamilton and Jordan Davis chilling right at 12. You couldn't mess up, and you did.
Well, Quincy got wet feet in his first draft, and he pulled the Rick Spielman card. I want more picks.
Yeah, but then he gave Detroit JMO. He gave Green Bay Watson. They're both.
If Watson could stay on the field.
Watson's an athletic freak.
I know, but Watson's biggest challenge right now is getting out of the field for more than 12 games a year.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's going to be fine. I'm sorry, but he's going to be good. I mean, Green Bay is going to be good. I'm sorry. And Detroit.
I said that earlier
But
with the Kirk thing.
but
And you just blushed me off.
But when you give these
God damn.
guys picks, you're not helping yourself at all. That's what I love Kwesi. I think he's a great guy, and I think that he does a really good job of dancing around what you want to hear. But that dude, if he does some, like last year even, I think he made a good pick in Addison, and we've talked about it before. Was it really needed? But, that first draft of his, it really just, I don't know. Fans are still bringing it up, and yeah, it's hard to move on, but you see those guys make plays.
But who knows? Lewis Cine could go crazy next year. We could be sitting here like, well, give him the bank. Like,
well, good. Then do it.
But he's just not going to play on this. Honestly, though, at that pick, the Lewis Cine pick, why are we picking a safety? Like, you know what I mean?
Because Bynum wasn't proven yet, and yeah, it was just Harry.
Yeah, Harry's rock solid all the time.
Yeah.
And then you have, I don't know, I mean, could have Jameson Williams too, I mean, it's just the biggest, I don't know. Kwesi will never come out and say it, but he messed up his first draft.
Big time.
And then he traded up for Andrew Booth Jr., which isn't written off.
Which you knew who had medical problems beforehand. I mean, I think Booth can really be some. He just needs to get the time of day. And that's why I don't feel so good about going after a corner who could take his spot, because I want to see Booth thrive. I think he can.
But, I mean, also, like, if you pick a corner, just have Booth beat out the third-round kid.
Yeah, I
know what I mean? Like, it's good. It's never a bad thing to have 4 good corners.
Yeah, but I think as far as that, I mean, I think those top 4 guys, you just maybe got to give them another year or two. Maybe you got to give Lewis Cine another year. You got to give Booth an opportunity. You got to give BA. You got to have him stay healthy. Ed Ingram is already turning into something decent, I would say. So, you got to give these guys some time. And I think those top 4 picks could make an impact. I really do.
That's why I'm saying, like, you're so mad about the McDuffie stuff. You just got to let your guys cook.
It's just because when you see that and you know how good they were and you've done a lot of work. I mean, the Vikings did a ton of work on Trent McDuffie.
I know.
And Kyle Hamilton, I mean...
Well, Trent McDuffie, that was Zimmer pick, right? Or was that...
No, McDuffie, that was Kwesi's first.
Oh, my God.
Because that was the draft where...
Well, if Mike Zimmer was still here, he'd be a Viking. I'm just going to say that right now.
Probably.
First-round corner,
but
Mike Zimmer.
That class was filled with corners. And that was Stingley, that was Gardner, that was McDuffie.
I mean, but you think about it, they traded up in the second round for Booth. And Booth was good at Clemson. You know what I mean? They got their guy later. They got a better value for him, I guess. I don't know.
We're
not sitting in the draft room, like, figuring all this out,
No, but I don't think anybody was salivating over Lewis Cine either, other than Kwesi.
Dude, I remember texting you the 2 picks in my Vikings history where I was like, why Mike Hughes and Lewis Cine?
Yeah,
I have never heard of Lewis Cine. And then Mike Hughes had, 1 good year at UCF? And we're like, we're all over him, even though we had 2 shutdown corners the year before.
Yeah, I didn't understand the Mike Hughes pick. That was definitely a big Zimmer pick there. Because Will Hernandez was there, but he didn't really turn out to be anything. But still, you needed guard, especially after Nick Easton got hurt that year.
And Pat
Elflein. So you obviously needed the offensive line to be repaired.
Bradbury wasn't there yet, right?
No, Bradbury was the year
19.
after.
He was 19. Okay.
And then so was O'Neal was that year, though. He was a second rounder. Yeah.
Which is home run.
Yeah.
The Park home run.
For sure.
Darrisaw first round, that's a grand slam.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't
know. You just got to let everything play out.
Yeah.
It's hard to, sit here and just bite your tongue and be like, Trent McDuffie would look great purple.
Yeah, but you also have to realize, you look at all these teams' draft history, and they just find gold mines. Mm-hmm. It's just because they have a good scouting department, and they know what they need. And they build teams the right way.
It's the one thing that the Vikings have never been good at is drafting for needs. Strictly needs.
Or just drafting the right way and drafting for the trenches. Yeah. And it all starts on how well you can push. If you get pushed, can they push back?
Yeah.
Are they not fazed by it?
They've never... I think, the Blake Quasey and them, their offense and their defense, they just want to be fast. They don't really care about the trenches. But that's been everybody. I just don't, the trenches has never been, other than if you think about it, the one year that we were good, to our memory, fully remembering, was 2017, when we had very good defensive tackles and very good edge.
Yeah.
And now you don't have anything, because in the 2017, you had Linval Joseph pushing up the middle, you had Tom Johnson rotational, and then you had Barr and Daniil coming off the edge.
Yeah. You look at Rick's best draft ever, it was 2015, where he found Daniil, Stefan, and Eric.
The Barr wasn't at the top, right, of that draft?
Barr was the year before. He had that draft, it was Waynes, it was Kendricks, it was Hunter, and it was Diggs.
And that draft right there was one of the big reasons why we were good in 2017.
Yeah, and that just proves that if you just draft well for a good 2-3 years.
And it doesn't matter what round you find the talent in.
No, the Niners,
fifth round pick.
The Niners completely effed up their trade with Lance, and they still found guys.
Still in the Super Bowl 2 times before
exactly.
we have even whiffed the Super Bowl.
You just have to find, safety from Penn State, Jair Brown. He's already starting. He was picked in the 3rd round last year, and he played in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's because of how do you pronounce his name?
Talanoa, but still, I thought he was pretty good. So, but
they picked their franchise quarterback in the 7th round.
Yeah, which they got lucky with. I get it, and they surrounded him with a bunch of talent. But that's what you have to do when you pick these quarterbacks. Is you have to have talent around them.
Yeah.
So
what you're saying is we have talent around us. So if we pick a quarterback, it's not the dumbest thing.
No, it's not.
But we want 8 back.
We want him back because he gives us the best chance to win now.
And he cannot have his last snap be him tearing his Achilles in Minnesota.
Yeah. In Green Bay.
Yeah. That's even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At Lambeau. Yeah, but
there's a lot to happen in the next 3 weeks.
Right.
We're gonna really find out where Kirk plays next year.
Yeah, in about 2 weeks. Free agency frenzy starts March 11th. It's a legal tampering period, and then 2 days later, let's see how many players pull up Anthony Barr.
I remember that.
Yeah, he was a Jet for a day or two. Not even. He got cold feet and came crawling back to us.
And he came back again.
So.
And he went to Dallas for some fun.
Yeah.
He came back.
And wore the number 42.
Ben Gideon,
yes. He started on that 2017 team.
He was good, too. That was one of his really good years.
Ben Gideon, the pride of, where'd he go to college?
Missouri.
Did he go to Missouri?
Yeah. Because I remember we picked Cam Smith, and then he was supposed to be good, the USC linebacker, and then he got hurt.
Oh, Cam Smith, that's right. Now he's a photographer for the team, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm going to look that up, Ben.
Yeah, but tomorrow, the corners and the safeties are tomorrow, and then I think...
Oh, I was wrong with Ben Gideon.
Oh, I think I know where he went to.
Where?
He went to... it's a Big Ten school, isn't it?
Michigan.
Yep.
I had the M right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that really wraps up this podcast. It was a very emotional podcast, we could say.
Yeah.
Cam got on my ass a little bit, but love that.
No, it's just, I just
Yeah.
making conversation and debating, that's all.
Yeah, okay. You call it that. You're good. We're good. We're learning.
No problem, champ.
We're still better than Score North.
Snore North.
Phil Mackey, I hate you.
All right.
Can you make that a clip?
It'd be a very short clip, but...
Phil Mackey, I hate you.
But yeah, speaking of clips, we have a TikTok, Bull North Sports Podcast. Instagram, we post some clips on there. That's Bull North Sports. Twitter, Bull North Sports. And that's pretty much it. Would you shut up about the Facebook?
You didn't need to even say it. I wouldn't have even given it the time of day to say Facebook.
Yeah.
Now we said it.
Yeah, he said it last week,
it's
too.
It's not even funny anymore. Because we've kind of accepted we're never going to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll be it. I guess we don't do dice rolls anymore, so
let's hit him with a dice roll.
Oh, really? Okay, see you guys next time.